We are here with the Co-Conspirators. Welcome to In the Music Room.
Thank you for having us in your home.
Really, really enjoyed the set of music you just played for us. Y'all sound great together. And you are a married couple or not married yet? I say yet.
That's a touchy subject.
I say yet. Okay.
I don't want to get that close.
We call ourselves married, but we've never actually had a ceremony. But we've been together for 10 years. So.
The Quebec government regards us as being married because they can tax us more that way.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's
no,
as
I
close
get it.
as she'll let me get to marry. I've been married 3 times before, so I think she's a little hesitant.
Oh, well, 4 times the charm.
Absolutely. Well, I joke around and say, well, yeah, I was married for 20 years. It was 3 different women. But,
I sure sound like Randy. Well, y'all sound great together. It seems like you've been together forever because your voices just blend so well. And
thank you.
And everything. When did you start playing music and writing songs?
I started playing music when I was 13. I bought a guitar, and within 2 months I was in a band. And I was just playing big, loud, noisy chords and making a lot of
Self-taught?
noise. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I basically, I think I mentioned earlier, I come out of that late 70s, early 80s post-punk scene in England, like the Buzzcocks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And sort of refined it a little bit over the years, but always had this really soft spot for singer-songwriter and folk and the like that, you kind of keep hidden a bit.
Yeah.
But it serves me well now. I just got too old to keep a band together. So it's like, oh, well,
So what songs were you doing? Were you writing songs when you were doing the punk rock thing?
Yeah. Maybe not so much when I was young, really young, but in my, by the time I was in my late teens, I was writing my own songs.
How many different colors of hair did you have during that time?
I had, the only time I ever did anything, I just dyed this little patch here green, just this little patch here.
Yeah.
And the intention and the effect was that it looked like my head was a bit moldy.
I didn't know him then.
Yeah, obviously. And what about you?
I grew up in a very classical music environment. My 5 siblings and I all had to play an instrument. We all had to practice every day. And my parents were both classical musicians as well. And so I started recorder when I was 4, and then I took up French horn when I was 10, and I played French horn, and I did a university degree in French horn at McGill University, and then I started having some problems with my jaw, so I had to stop playing, but then I did a percussion degree, just because I wanted to stay in music, and I wanted to do something. Yeah, in the music industry.
Did you just get burned out on the French horn? Or?
No, I did. I had some trouble with my jaw, so I had to stop. Yeah. And it just kept reoccurring. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So where are you both from originally?
So I'm from Montreal. Grew up there, lived there my whole life. I went away for university for a year to Ontario, not very far.
Yeah.
And then right back to Montreal, and I've been working at McGill for 25 years in administration, and we just moved out of Montreal about 5 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And we're only 45 minutes away, but it's the first time that I'm really living elsewhere.
Oh wow! Yeah. And what about you, sir?
I grew up in Bolton, which is about halfway between Manchester and Liverpool in northwest England. I was 15 when I left. Moved to Halifax. Which was quite the culture shock because we weren't actually in Halifax. We were out in the boonies. Mm-hmm. Certainly what feels like it when you don't drive. You know?
Yeah.
I remember the day I turned 16, I'm like, motorcycle license. That's it. I'm done. And I rode that sucker all through the winter and everything.
Oh, yeah.
When I finished my undergrad, I moved to Montreal and basically did odd jobs and this and that whilst playing music. I did do a post-grad degree that I didn't finish. And then just sort of from like 21 to 28 when my son was born, it was just music. Spent a lot of time on the road. A lot of time. I actually technically moved back to England, and we just spent 18 months just tearing up and down the country, playing 3-4 times a week because there's so many places to play there, and it was it was fun. I mean, I couldn't do it now, but it was fun. What I remember.
And then along came Charlie.
Yeah, and then my son was born, and it's like, no, I'm making like $6,000 a year here. Like, you cannot raise a child on that, you know. And so, yeah, I stepped aside for a while, but when he was about 14, he started playing bass, so I got the band back together, or a version thereof, and he was on bass, and he played with us. You know, we used to sneak him into the clubs at 14 years old, and he'd play with us, and that went on until about 10 years ago, I think it was. Oh, no, it was more than that.
Wait,
it was
did I break up the
birthday.
band?
No, Yoko.
Am I Yoko Ono?
You're just finding something out tonight. No,
Yeah. And when we started singing together a couple of years after we met. And then I decided I was going to sell my business because I just had enough. And I'm like, hey, let's go do something. Let's do this.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, she said yes.
Yeah.
So,
well, she hadn't been out of Montreal, for God's sakes.
see the world, girl.
Give her some culture. You're really liking this road stuff, aren't you?
I am.
But you actually took a year leave of absence.
Yes, I did. I took a year. I wasn't 100% sure that I wanted to do this, and we wanted to try it first. And I had the luxury of being able to take a leave of absence from McGill. And when we got back from our first major tour, it was across Canada, right to the West Coast, and we came back, and March 1st of 2020, I handed in my resignation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I didn't regret it. It was a bit odd timing there because, but and it's funny because we got back from the tour and we were so excited to have a couple of weeks off because we were tired. And of course, a couple of weeks wasn't really a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
What a shocker for most people.
Yeah. We found ways to perform.
Yeah.
We found our ways around.
Oh, yeah. So how long have you guys been on the road this tour?
We left January 14th.
Yeah. January 14th.
Yep.
And how
Across
long
the
are you going to
border.
be out, do you think?
We're back on the 8th of March. We're back home on the 8th of March. So just a couple of weeks more.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it's we do things a little different from most people. What we well, in the summer we have a camper. We have a pickup truck with a camper on the back, and we just go and we park. We don't even park in campgrounds anymore. We just find places because campgrounds are like super expensive now.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're very
But in the winter, we sort of try and base ourselves out of places. Like we were a week in just outside Charlotte.
Yes.
I can't remember what it was called now.
No, me neither.
Anyway, so we did a bunch of shows around Charlotte.
Right.
And then we moved, and we did a bunch of shows. Did a bunch of shows, and now we're in Texas. We've got we've got 5 shows in Texas.
Yeah.
And
It's a pretty big state.
Texas is big, though.
Yeah,
It's
so
big.
we based ourselves in Huntsville, which we thought would be a pretty central spot. I mean, we'd already booked all the shows ahead of time, of course, before leaving on tour. So we chose Huntsville as sort of a honestly, it was a reasonably priced place that we found, and so we got a reduced rate because we booked it for 20 days or something.
20 days.
So then we're doing all our shows by going back home after.
Right.
Home.
Yeah.
Home. Yeah. So
I don't like going from one motel to another and everything.
we have to bring all our gear in every time.
I know.
and
It's a pain. Unpack. Yeah.
The camper's good though. I like touring in the
Yeah.
camper. That's a lot of fun.
But we were going to bring it this time. We almost did. We had a long talk about it, and then we were like, you know what? Let's not, just in case. And then we've just had terrible weather.
We could have hardly used it.
No, we wouldn't
Yeah.
have ready to use it.
There's no heating in it. It is
Oh,
literally
yikes.
just a plastic box.
Okay.
Because we got a small truck and it only carries like 1,400 pounds. So we custom made a plastic box.
Plastic.
Wow.
It sounds.
Did
there
you
are
patent
windows.
that? You might be a rich man and not even know it.
Yeah. Well, it weighs 600 pounds, which is like, a couple of strong fellas can lift it on and off. So,
Yeah. Wow.
But it's got windows and everything. It's not just a plastic box. It's got a nice, comfortable bed, and he can even stand up in it. So that's really nice. It's a really comfortable way to travel, actually.
The first camper we had was like it wasn't a camper. It was it's like what you'd use for like you put on the back of a pickup truck for put your tools in and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So the bed of the what was our bed was like this high.
We had to slither in.
So slither in. You couldn't read. So you turn on your side, and it felt like it's like
you were in a coffin.
Yeah. And we thought, well, we could do this if we were about 40 years younger. But I think it's time to give this thing up. It was a good starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. A young couple bought it from us, and it was like so sweet to see them like starting off. They were doing a stage in their medical. A stage is an apprenticeship. In their medical careers, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to live in this for the summer." It's like, "Oh my God, you're so young and flexible."
Have fun.
They sent us pictures actually partway through the summer, and they were just still smiling and happy. So we
good.
thought, that's good. Good for
Good.
them. They were in their
great.
20s. They can have it.
Well, Catherine had mentioned that she came from a background of classical music, and that kind of gave her start and what she wanted to do with it. What were your influences? What got you into what you were doing?
I grew up in a household where music was not really tolerated. My father was a bit of a stern fellow and a bit of a misery goat. I'm going to start using that term again, a misery goat. So the only time I'd hear music was when he was out, and my mom would put on her Elvis records.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
like, oh,
I
this
like
is kind of cool. And that got me going. And that there's this train that goes, from that. And then my mom in her youth had actually gone to see Gene Vincent. You all know Gene Vincent. And, that was like her last sort of kick at being a teenager, because she was married and pregnant at 18. So I started listening to Gene Vincent, and it was like, oh, and then Eddie Cochran and things like that. And then all of like this, it was like this path that I went along. And then to try and impress a girl who was much older than I at the time, she said, "Oh, I'm going to go see Gang of Four on Saturday." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm going too." No idea who they were. So I show up at this show. She's nowhere to be found. But here's this band, Gang of Four. And it's just like, oh, and it was loud. And it was just like, it was very physical music. And it's like, I kind of like this. And then so I started getting into all those things, and it leads you to like the Clash and the Buzzcocks and all this stuff. So it was a very, I will forever be grateful to Joanne Lipton.
Well, did she ever show up?
No, she never showed up. But that's okay. I don't care. I discovered the Gang of Four instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took that was path, but really, really like my mom putting on Elvis records, Everly Brothers, I think even some Johnny Cash and things like that.
Right.
It was just like, this is nobody else in my family, even remotely, in my immediate family. Apparently, my uncle was a fantastic singer, but like he was coal miners choirs.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
And now your son and
My
your
son
nephew.
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
nephew
my
is
great-nephew, yeah,
oh,
yeah.
great nephew,
Yeah.
right? Great nephew. Oh, and your nephew too. Both bass players.
Yeah.
And
My son
your
has
son?
a death metal band.
All right.
He would tell you it's not a death metal. He'd tell you like these 6 or 7 different sort of death,
Descriptive.
sludge,
Yes,
psychedelic.
Yeah.
It's heavy metal.
So
But they are tremendously good at it. I have
they
to
really
say.
are.
Yeah.
They really are. We go and hear them. We go and hear them regularly. Even though, I mean, for me, it's like it's just really, really loud, and I have to get the really good earplugs and go.
Right.
But I love it because they are so talented, and you can hear the talent through. It doesn't matter if you don't like the kind of music or you don't understand it or whatever. The talent is there, and it's brilliant.
Right.
I want to mention though, like, because Catherine played the recorder here. If you grew up in Canada and learned the recorder, you used the Mario Duchesne method book. Everybody, you say that to any Canadian, they're like, "Oh yeah, that was it."
Grade 3, grade 4, we learned that. Yeah,
That was Catherine's uncle.
that was my uncle.
Oh,
He
was
literally
it?
wrote the book on how to play the recorder.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
That's pretty
so
cool.
I had lessons from him, and I had lessons from my aunt, his wife. Then.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know she played. She
Yeah,
was
she
a
taught.
recorder
She taught at
enthusiast.
music camp, so that's where I learned a recorder. Was at music camp.
Neat.
Well, that was a big music influence for you too, the Kamak.
Yeah, CAMAC. It's Canadian amateur musicians, and then in French, musicien amateur canadien.
Oh, okay.
And it's a fantastic family music camp for amateurs in the Laurentians. It's just west of Montreal. And it goes for 8 weeks every summer. And you can sign up for a week and you bring your whole family. And there's lessons for anybody in classes, folk dancing and recorder and arts and crafts. And
Oh, that sounds like fun.
it's a really great environment.
Yeah.
My parents were both very involved in it. So we spent every summer there, all 8 weeks.
Yeah.
My mom was the director of the children's program, and my father was the artistic director of the camp. So it's
Came by
in my
honestly.
blood. Yeah,
So do you help him with his writing?
Once in a while, I make suggestions, but mostly we work on. My part is more about the harmonies
Okay.
and phrasing and things like that. But
Phrasing and harmony for sure.
Yeah,
Some melody.
yeah, some
I'm not giving you writing credit though.
no
Well, if
writing
she
credit
comes
for
up
me.
with an idea of some lyrics that she gets it.
Oh yeah, no. Then yeah. I've asked her several times. Hey, write a song.
I wouldn't have
It's not happening.
any idea where to start. I mean, classical music is, it's right there on your page, right?
Yeah.
You play what's on your page with some interpretation, of course, but for me, I mean, I can't even imagine writing a song. I do creative writing, but
You
creative.
could do it.
Yeah.
You could do it. As a matter of fact, just kind of look at it as poetry to music, and you can kind of write in that vein, and then, he'll add little things here and little things there, and you'll just,
Ta-da.
We'll
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, no,
We'll
I
try.
am very
think-
pro that notion.
Yeah.
I think it would be great. I mean,
I'm challenging you.
you're
I'm challenging you. Yes.
challenge accepted.
Are you fluent in French?
Yes. Yeah.
And y'all need to do a French song.
Yeah, we do. We have a couple.
Oh, you do?
We have a
Okay.
couple, yeah.
Yeah.
good.
I haven't written anything in French, but we once a month we play at it's an Alzheimer's specialist old folks home, and it's predominantly French, and we learned a couple of popular like old popular
Right.
French songs for them. I am not bilingual. I actually am bilingual, but not French. So
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm not even that anymore. I lost it. But yeah, we do, and but from doing this show once a month, which is you want to humble yourself. Go play to a series of people who, halfway through your set, they're like, "And what are you here for?" It's just like
It's very hard.
the first time was super tricky.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get used to it. You're a little more prepared for it, but it's somewhat humbling. I'm not sure if that's the right thing.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm really thinking that the singing the song in French right now because we haven't done it in so long.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think. But we do. We
Yeah.
finally
We do.
added a couple of songs in French. It's funny because people have been asking us, since we started, do you have any French songs? Do you sing any songs in French? I mean, here we are in Quebec. we should really have some French songs. So we finally added some this year to
Yeah,
our repertoire.
or take some of your current songs that are in English and then
Yeah.
convert it to
Yeah,
French
translate
and
them.
you
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
have you sing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that.
You're
You've got
gonna
to
do
sing
that?
it, though.
Of course I will
can't.
sing it.
My
Absolutely.
French becomes very
You
not
can do the harmonies
understandable.
this
Yeah,
time.
What is it you say? Oh, I've only been in Montreal for. What was it?
Yeah, I've only been in Quebec for 40 years now, so I'm still learning.
But honestly, most of our shows are not in Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec's not a great.
Oh,
It's not. We struggle finding shows in Quebec. We do a lot of shows in neighboring Ontario, in neighboring New Brunswick, Nova Scotia,
West Coast.
and then we also go right to the West Coast and anywhere along the way. But Quebec, not so much. And it's so funny that it is our home.
Yeah. Huh.
Noah's in Ontario. He's in Maddox.
Maddox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mannix, that's
You need
Eastern
to.
Ontario.
You guys need to know him if you don't. He's
Yeah,
a really
absolutely.
Oh,
spectacular.
I'm going to get. I'll get in touch with him. I'm
Yeah.
assuming I can find him on like Facebook or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a hoot.
You'll like
Excellent.
him.
Excellent.
So let me ask you: when you're creating your song, does the music usually come first or the lyrics?
It's a variable, but very often I noodle at home a lot, so I'll often have these patterns in mind and progressions and whatnot, and then one line will come to me. I'm very good at writing the first line of a song.
It's finishing that damn thing.
Yeah, the second line gets a little tricky, and after that, it's like, oh my god, what am I doing? But I would imagine that musicality, the music comes first, but not with any particular thing in mind. It's just like playing a lot. I play a lot, and it comes from there, and then. Sometimes I'll set myself an assignment. It's like, okay, I want to write a song about this, like the Ginger Goodwin song, the Redneck song. I wanted to write a song that has some sort of touch points on sort of significant labor issues or events. So I researched and chose the things that I wanted, and basically set it to a very simple traditional ballad sort of thing. It's an A to a G, an A to a G. It's very, very straight ahead music. And it took quite a while to beat that into shape. Like, you've got the information that you want, but you don't necessarily know how to phrase it or express it in an interesting way that's still going to get the point across and that. And then you've got to work on as harmony singers, phrasing is very important. So it has to be a clear meter that we can follow, so we can sing at the same time.
Right.
So all those factors means that it can take a while. But then you have something like The Road, which I wrote in an afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like,
Sometimes they come really fast, and other
it just
times, yeah.
happens,
Have you ever heard the interviews? It was called Dolly Parton's America. She did a podcast, and she talks about how she wrote "I Will Always Love You" and what was the other song?
Jolene?
It was Jolene in one afternoon while she was driving home from somewhere. I don't know.
Oh wow.
I think that's mythology. I really do. Dolly's good at mythology.
I was thinking, like, oh, come on.
It happens though.
happens.
Sometimes
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've written a song like, boom. I mean, I had music in my head, and I had the lyrics, and it was boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
Of course, then I had to go to Randy because I don't play an instrument.
Oh,
That's my downfall. So
Right,
I
right,
rely
right.
on Randy to
Okay.
help
So
me figure
you'd
out.
have the vocal melody and
Yeah, I
and
mean,
the
for
words.
some reason the music's in my head, and I have the lyrics. It's I go sing it to him, and then he's got to figure out the chords and
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
key. So yeah, but it works. It's
that's
good when
great.
it works like that
Yeah.
too.
Absolutely.
He has to do the heavy lifting.
That's right. That's right. So if a young person came to you guys today and said, "I want to be a musician. That's what I want to do for my career for the rest of my life," what advice would you give them?
Eat a little bit of cat food every day. So eventually you get used to it, and you'll be all right.
Cat food, Dale.
Oh yeah, the price of
Or the
cat.
cheap stuff, though. I would caution them that it is a very, very difficult way to make a living.
Absolutely.
For us, we're in a fortunate situation. I sold my business at a certain point. I sold a condo in Montreal that somebody gave me stupid money for. Just like, you're nuts, but I will take it. And then I got a little bit from family. So I'm in a fortunate position that I think we'll break even on this tour.
Yeah.
So if you expect to make money off of it, I think of your brother Mark, who is one of the most, he's a phenomenal clarinet player, just phenomenal, classic and jazz. He gigs a tremendous amount. He's also a military, he plays a military band. He scrapes by, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And most of the musicians we know, you know, you got to hold down other jobs. I have to work other jobs sometimes too.
Yeah, so it is very rewarding, but you're not going to be Taylor Swift. Not, you know, not everybody gets to be that,
That's
you know?
true.
And so just, you know, doing the tours that we do and even just doing tours close to home, there's so much joy from it, and there's so much connection, and we love that. So if you're doing it for those reasons, that you have something to say and that you want to, you know, connect with other people, I think that is a great reason to do it. But to make money, meh, not so much.
Not so great. Not so great.
Oh,
Although we experienced when we were in Nashville, we walked down Broad Street. And
That was a scene.
oh my goodness.
Saturday night.
Saturday night, so every bar window has this band, and that's apparently like these people are all making money, but they went. There's a school there that all these people went to, and they're like, "This is how you play. These are the songs you play. These are the contacts I'll give you," and they all paid to go to school to learn this. But I can't imagine for a second that is particularly fulfilling.
No.
You know,
No.
you're just cranking out the same nonsense as everybody else.
We've had a lot of Nashville people come in here that are, you know, writers and have experience with Nashville, and it's just like they're a songwriting machine when they're up there, you know, and you're just hoping and hoping that somebody famous is going to pick that one song
Exactly.
so that you can get that nice mailbox money, and
Yeah.
you know,
And-
but
and-
it's a lot of competition out there.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if it does happen, wow, more power to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That actually happened to, we were talking about Fred Eaglesmith earlier, that his Canadian singer-songwriter. You should absolutely check him out. He's fantastic. He got, Toby Keith picked up one of his songs.
Oh, okay.
Do you know him?
Fred Eaglesmith?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Call us.
Sorry?
Call us.
Have them call us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I should, actually, yeah. He's a crabby guy. He's getting on. He's been doing this a long time. We when we went to see him at the show, and at one of his shows, and we're like, "Hey, Fred, man, you know, we love your song so much. We did a little CD of all of them." He's like, "Ah." Like, oh,
Man of many words.
yeah. But check him out. He's a fantastic. I will mention it that if he's down this way.
Yeah.
I think he married a gal from here, Tiffany Gin from the Gin Sisters, the fabulous Gin Sisters. I think they're from this part of the world.
Huh.
But yeah, Toby Keith picked up White Rose Filling Station of his, and it's like he made more money from that one song than his 20 other albums of stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
When one song
it
goes
does
big,
happen.
that
It does
can
happen.
put your
It
kids
does
through
happen.
college. So hey, you never
Absolutely.
know. Never
Yeah.
know.
Absolutely.
Well, it has been great having you both here, and
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
that you do come back and do a show with us.
Thank
The
you.
next tour.
We would love to.
Thank you. We'd love to, and we promise not to bring the weather with us.
Yeah, you can you can
Honestly.
leave that junk
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah. So I hear like April, May is good.
Yeah,
not
it
too,
is.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you can survive that heat. That's not overwhelming.
All right.
So
We'll plan for
Hey,
that.
thank you very much. Thank you all very much for
Yes.
coming out. Thank you for
And-
opening up your home to us. It's much appreciated.
well,
Yes,
it's
indeed.
great having you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Keep on tuning in. You are in the music room.